We had the spring retreat. We had King's Day. We had wet rim put, successful. After wet rim put, we had the radio program, which we had almost 2,000 people tuning in every week to hear the words that we teach, hear our teachings. We had, after that, we had the cruise that we were invited on, where I and several of the other Saru members had a very powerful impact upon that, got me the radio slot every week at my discretion. We've inaugurated the presentation of Ma'at. We had Web and Jed, Masaru, and the most successful of them all is the Feast of Sekhmet. That's showing you that the Netaru of our ancestors are not asleep, that they're alive and that they're well, and that they respond to us based off of our faith and our devotion. So if you have small faith and small devotion, you get little response back. You have great faith and you have great devotion, you get great responses back. I have a new proverb that you should write down. It says, if your faith is great and you live by principle, the returns will be great and you can expect miracles. If your faith is small and you rely on miracles, then the return will be meager and the quality of your life will be pitiful. So what is a miracle? Is a miracle a supernatural thing? Should I repeat that? Yes. All right, back to the top. If your faith is great and you live by principle, the returns will be great and you can expect miracles. On the downside of that, if your faith is small and you rely on miracles, then the returns will be meager and the quality of your life will be pitiful. Like I said, it shows that our ancestors and the Netaru of our ancestors are alive and well, because what we do is uncommon, it's unorthodox, it's against the so-called grain, and we're still succeeding. That's how you know that they're with you. When you do what you wasn't supposed to be able to do, when you achieve and succeed in things that you weren't supposed to succeed, you know you're working with something supernatural. And that itself is a miracle. So what are miracles? Are miracles supernatural? Or are they organic? Remember, we talk about what I just said about living in principle. If you live in principle, you can expect miracles. If you don't live by divine principle, nothing is going to happen for you. So what is a mirror? A mirror you look into and you see what? So when you look into yourself, what is that called? Introspection or reflection. So we teach that God exists within you as you, correct? Do you all understand that? So if God exists within you as you, when you go inside and look into the mirror, who should be there? So when you go inside and you reflect on the greatness of everything that who you are and what you shall be and what you shall become, then you look forth in that mirror and you call forth your miracle. You call forth the reality of your choice. That's a mirror call. So we're at the beginning of the Gregorian calendar, the beginning of the year. I guess Armin Cowell spoke about it, Second Ra spoke about it. A lot of people pulled me to the side and they asked, what are my thoughts about 2012? And I say, let us dress prepared for the weather. Y'all understand that metaphor? Let us dress prepared for the weather. We're not talking about whether it's 30 degrees or 40 degrees outside. We're talking about the emotional climate. This emotional storm that's coming, this emotional cold front that's coming, where the deepest, coldest parts of your heart, where all your fear resides, and now are starting to become manifest. And that actually controls the weather. The weather is off because we're off emotionally. My mother used to tell me when we were little, she said, anytime you leave the house, don't forget your jacket. And I was like, why? I want to be free. I want to be unencumbered. I don't want to carry a jacket. Why? And she said, because you never know what might happen. You might get stranded out there. So that lets me know that looks could be deceiving and things are not always what they seem. So as we look out the window now, it could be a nice sunny day. And according to what time of day and what angle the sun is reflecting its light or shining its light upon the earth, it could look like it's a summer day out there. But we have to be mindful that it's winter time. Regardless how warm it's outside, it is winter time. We could fool ourselves. We could open the window and put our hand outside and say, it's not that cold outside. You ever done that before? We probably did it today. It's not that cold outside. You go to the porch. It's not that cold outside. You might even go to your car to get something from the car and come back. You're like, it's not that cold outside. So you fool yourself into thinking it's not that cold outside. And a few hours later, you know, the weather changes every few hours. By 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, I should have brought my jacket. So let us not forget that it's winter time. And although it could be seasonally warm, it could be 55, 56 degrees. We're blessed to have this warm winter so far. But 55 degrees, 53 degrees, 2 o'clock at night when your car is stalled out and you can't turn on the heat, might as well be 30 degrees. So always come prepared and dressed for the weather. When you walk out the house, you need to wear your jacket, have your scarf, your gloves, your hat. Whether you're wearing the scarf or the hat, you can put it in your pocket, put it in your car, but you need it because, like my mother said, you never know what might happen. When you wear all of that stuff, your hat, your scarves, your earmuffs, your gloves, and that blizzard comes, you're still freezing. They think like, damn, it's cold as hell out here. With all that stuff on, you're still cold. Now see that, compare that and contrast that to the person who has none of that. That's 2 different degrees of cold. That person might not make it through the winter. That person might die through frostbite, but you, all you have to do is deal with a little discomfort and you're gonna make it through the spring. So dress prepared for the weather. Like the brother was saying, we gotta be prepared. How do we be prepared? We speak, we say these things as though everybody knows what that means. I believe we all the children in the universe, we have nothing to be worried about, but we have to have respectful concern about what's going on around us. Because all things are interconnected. What goes on with our brothers and sisters out there in the world is also going to affect us one way or another. May not affect us physically, but emotionally. You don't like to see people suffer. So we're going to go through some things, write it down, how you can be prepared for the storm that comes. So every household needs a first aid kit. Enough to address all the members in the house and maybe a friend or two. Like I said, we're gonna need each other. You're gonna need somebody to love you, somebodies to love you. One person ain't enough anymore, because maybe your best friend going through it just as bad as you, so they can't even help. So you're gonna need more than friends. You're gonna need family. So every house needs a first aid kit. There needs to be 1 gallon of water, for 1 gallon or 2 of water stored for every person in the house. Try to get glass jugs. You don't want to do the plastic. The plastic seeps chemicals into the water. You want to get a flashlight, a working flashlight for the house. A mag light flashlight, not just any, you know, the mag light, they're black and they're heavy because they could double up as a weapon. Hopefully you don't have to use it as a weapon, but if you got to bang somebody up, you can use it as a weapon without it breaking the flashlight. It's a security flashlight. What else? You need an essential oil first aid kit. That's my idea. There's no such thing on the market as a first aid kit, but it consists of these oils. You need lavender, peppermint, lemon, and clove. She said cayenne pepper. They have a cayenne essential oil? No. Oh, cayenne pepper, right? Okay. That's too hot. Anything 2 is off balance. But those several oils encompass most human needs or concerns. Each one of those oils have 20 different uses. So between all 20 different uses of each oil in a combination, it can address most of your concerns. For instance, lavender and peppermint both together relieve inflammation and swelling. Remember, you got to be able to treat yourself. We got to go to the doctor for broken arms and things like that, but sprains and swellings, cuts and bruises, we should be able to deal with that on our own. Something minor shouldn't turn into a major condition. We are responsible for ourselves first. You don't go to a doctor and be like, what's wrong with me? You're like, how old are you? Like, I'm 35. You've been walking around with that body 35 years and you don't know what's wrong with you? That's why they get to start experimenting on you. That's why they call it a practice. Like, let me try this other stuff out on you. Like, I got a 3rd ear, doc. You're like, all right, don't take that no more. Take this one.